Tonight we have the honor of hearing from Royal Crown Diamond, Erin Rogers. I know you know her. I know you love her. And let's just blow it up in the chat and affirm in the reaction button. If you're on your computer, on the bottom row on the right side, there's a reactions. You can clap, you can go thumbs up. And since we're not here in real life to be like, woo, then we're going to do that for her because it's so encouraging when people do that. Also, if you have team that should be on here that you know they want to be on here, shoot them a text right now and remind them. And with that, I'm going to hand the microphone over to Erin. Erin, you have been an inspiration to me from the day that I first heard you. I'm not alone in that. I've heard so many messages today of people saying, she's so awesome. And I look up to you in so many ways. I respect you. I look forward to being Royal Crown with you. And I just really appreciate everything you've poured into me. So without further ado, take it away.
All right. Can y'all hear me okay? I have a new computer, so I want to make sure my audio. Okay, good. All right. I'm pumped to be here. I actually was tagged on a few posts on Instagram today by you guys, which at first I was like, wait, I have a Zoom tonight. I thought it was my team. And I was like, what is happening? But then I realized it was you guys, and that was really sweet. And I'm excited to be here and just able to kind of pour in for a minute. So I know y'all have somewhere to be. And so I'm going to just kind of throw some stuff at you for the next 30 minutes. So take notes if you want or not. You can come back and rewatch, I suppose. But I asked Bethany when she first asked me to come and be on here, I was like, what do you want me to talk about? And she said, belief. Well, now this was like a week and a half ago, maybe even 2 weeks ago. And since then, a lot of things have happened. I've been in Utah. I've had a retreat for 30 of my leaders last weekend. And then I was at the beach this past week and I forgot it all. But in the midst of all of that, of trying to remember what I was supposed to be talking about for you guys tonight, which just spoiler alert, I don't prepare more than about 15 minutes in advance for these things because I want it to just be what's in my heart and kind of off the cuff. I had the word fear embedded in my brain from her. Not like I'm afraid of y'all, but like I thought she wanted me to talk about fears, which is really interesting. Like I feel like I could talk about, like she said belief, I heard fear. Like there's like a whole thing just in that, right? Like there are so many things that we want with this business. We want for our families, we want for our teams, we want for other people. A lot of times we want things for other people and we'll work harder for that than we will for ourselves, which is insane. But there's a lot in that that is built upon belief, but it's kind of like harnessed or hampered by fear and is held back by fear. And so my brain had already been tripping down the road of fear before I clarified with her a few hours ago. And I was like, well, we're going to make this work. So I am going to just, I was just kind of tripping through as I was putting my son to bed. I'm on East Coast, so it's 8:30 here and my kids go to bed early because I'm smart like that. They've been in bed for like 45 minutes. And I was just like, kind of taking notes on my phone, like what are the things that we are afraid of in this business? And then kind of, is there a belief in that we should like digest for a second? And so I'm going to give you 6. Okay. I came up with 6 common fears. There's probably a ton more, but I think these 6 sort of encompass a lot of them. One of them is to get us started. One of them is the fear of starting. Now, my guess is that if you're on this call, that probably doesn't apply to you because you've probably started sharing and growing your business and growing your team to some capacity, maybe not a ton, but at least to some capacity at this point. But that fear of starting is very real. And whether that has ever been an issue for you or not, it will be an issue for someone on your team who you love, who you desperately want to see get started. And so we just kind of have to realize that fear of getting started often comes from a place of like, I need to know everything before I get started. What if somebody asked me a question I didn't know the answer to? That sort of thing. And so that to me is really, when I hear that, It's hard when you've been doing this for a really long time and you're helping somebody get started, because what they tend to do is they kind of compare themselves to you. I was literally in this room last night with a dear friend of mine and just talking to her. She's been a member for years. She's done another MLM and not loved it. And, I just have always been like, you're going to do this eventually. And I've said that you're going to do this eventually. And we were talking about it last night and she was like, Erin, I just, like you write books and stuff and you speak on stages and I just don't think I could do what you do. And I'm like, babe, do you think I started there? I mean, I started like talking to one person and then talking to another person. Like none of us started where we are now, right? We all started somewhere else. And so you need to be aware that whoever you're helping get started might be a little bit paralyzed by where you are compared to where they're starting. But like I was explaining to my friend last night, and the business she's been in has been more like a beauty minded business than ours. And as I was explaining to her, I was like, I mean, some businesses, and I feel like hear this explanation, and then also hear how this analogy lays over the top of the business, because I think this was really profound. But I said, some businesses like the one that you've done for several years relies on a before and after. Like you need like the before, and then you really need to be able to show a significant after, and you need there to be a change in order for someone to have belief in what you're doing. But the beauty of what we do here with Young Living is that we are on this like huge line of progression. And I mean, we have, listen, like even at the top levels in the company, we have people, maybe not all the way here, but you have people over here who are going from like, I drink 2 liters of Mountain Dew a day. Should I switch one of those out for water? Okay. I hope we don't have any diamonds there. Right. But like, still, we have a lot of people in the company who are there. They're like, I want to be healthier. Should I drink more water or am I good with the Mountain Dew? Right. All the way to people who are like, I will not eat out at a restaurant that doesn't reverse osmosis their water and whatever, like there's just this huge thing in between. Right. So I was talking to my girlfriend about this, but isn't that true with the business too? Like we're all in a million different places. And if you're over here and you're trying to help, your brand new business builder with the business 2 liter of Mountain Dew mindset, right? Like they're trying to figure out how do you even do this thing, and they're watching you, they can get really paralyzed on getting started. This can happen if you're comparing yourself to Bethany. This can happen if you're comparing yourself to Jordan, to any number of the leaders on your team. You guys can totally get stuck in that mentality at any point in your business. So it's not just a fear of starting from the beginning, though that can be one. It can be a fear of just like, I'm still not where they are. Okay. So just, right? Like just recognize that in your own brain and figure out what you need to replace that with a belief in. Have a belief in your skills of where you are. Have a belief in where you want to be. Have a belief in where you've come from. Like where were you before and where are you now? You're freaking on a Zoom right now. I would say you're already leaps and bounds above 90% of the other people who say they want to do the business and don't actually ever do anything. Now let's also clarify that being on a Zoom does not make you a business builder. Let's get real about that, right? We can all listen to podcasts, attend Zooms, read the books. We can go to the workshops. We can do all the things. But if you're not actually doing the business, you're not like doing the business, right? We got to be enrolling people and doing all of those skills as well. So don't get caught in learning so that you have the information. Okay, that was just one. Number 2 is we can have a fear of rejection. Okay, this is real. This is still something that I would say every one of us struggles with at some level. You get better at handling it over time, but there's still some fear of rejection that can come along the way. And so here's all I'm going to say to that. If you're brand new to the business or you're helping someone brand new to the business, and they're afraid, it's kind of the like, what will people think? And all of that is wrapped in that fear of rejection. The honest truth is you are going to be rejected. It's going to happen. Probably not from the people you think it's going to come from, and then from the people you don't think it's going to come from. Like that's the about all of this, is that it trips you up where you don't expect it sometimes. But if somebody tells you that people are going to always love our product, they're going to always love our business model, they're going to always love the way you taught that class, they're going to always want to jump in and get stuff, they're not telling you the full truth on that. You are going to be rejected. And so honestly, fear of rejection, the best thing that you can do is just to get over it by realizing that rejection means that you've put yourself out there far enough for somebody to have the opportunity to say yes or no. And if they say no, then they say no. And I mean, some people will be like, when I hear no, I really hear next. I mean, yes. And I mean, Bethany has probably said that to y'all before. It's okay for it to hurt for a minute when somebody rejects you. It's okay. Just because you're expecting the rejection doesn't mean that it can't hurt. Okay. That's totally real. Let's be humans and like recognize it hurts when somebody close to you just is kind of ugly about what you're doing. It's going to happen. It can be a million things though, right? I was talking to a friend the other day and I was like, every person that I've ever heard tell me that network marketing doesn't work has a story as to why it doesn't. Because people have had experiences that have embedded those stories and those beliefs in them. And so whether it was their uncle's neighbor who, who invested $1,500 in one of them pyramid schemes and it didn't work out. So Young Living's just a joke. No, listen, that's their experience. We're not a pyramid scheme. There are a lot of things people are buying into, even still today, that are not going to turn out well for them. And a lot of us can see that up front. But the reality is that they're doing something that they believe in at the moment. You and I are doing something that we believe in. And we have to press past that rejection and get over that, which is kind of tied to the third one, which is the fear of closing. And so here, I'm going to say something really just straight up here. Like, closing is really important. You've got to close. It's really crucial. I just had this retreat a few weekends ago, 2 weekends ago. And Bethany, I think I sent you a picture while I was there of you on the screen. Did I send you a picture of that, of you teaching my team? I used several of the videos from Diamond Bound and played them for my people, because I was like, I don't need to reteach this. It's been done real well. And so I'm just going to be really honest and tell you, I did a Diamond Bound video on closing. It's real good. And so you should just go watch that. But if you have a fear of closing, this is what I'm going to say. And I want you to sit on this for a second. If you're not closing, if you're afraid to close, you like talk to the people about all the things and like explain all the stuff. And then you get to the end where you want to be like, so let me help you buy some. And you just kind of like backpedal because that feels weird. Here's the deal, friend. If you're not closing, you're providing customer service for the person who's eventually going to sell to them. And that is just the truth of it. If you are not closing them, you are simply helping out the person who comes along who's going to be willing to close them. And that person's going to be 10 steps ahead because of all the hard work you did. And you're going to be all, they enrolled with someone else. And I'm going to be like, tough noogies, because that's the truth of it. I mean, if you are just putting all the information out there, and listen, I've had to say this to myself. I've heard this and learned this time after time after time. Okay. But if you just keep putting the information out there and you never actually make the offer to help someone buy the stuff, then they're going to get it from the next person who actually helps them do that thing. Okay. So thanks for the customer service for whoever they go to. Right. But here's the deal. Part of the reason that we get tripped up by that is because we really, we resist wanting to turn our casual or friendly relationships into transactional relationships. And so we worry that, I always use this analogy of, if I have just sold somebody a starter kit or oils, or, we're headed towards more of a customer facing kind of situation. So if I've just sold somebody on a couple of supplements and then I run into them at church or at the grocery store or somewhere a week later, I have this really weird situation and it happens in my head. Okay. And you do too. So put yourself in this situation. We like see the person and we're like, okay, we have an option here. We can either go, oh my gosh, Sarah, thank you so much for grabbing those products. That's so awesome. I can't wait for you to get started with them, yada, yada. Or we can go, that's awkward. I don't want to be that girl. I don't want her to see me every time she sees me and be like, oh, we just have to talk about the products every time, right? These are the two options that we see in our head. Here's what it looks like in reverse though. I have just bought products from someone I know like a week ago. I run into her in the grocery store and I've just dropped $100 on things she told me I'm going to love. And then when I see her, she doesn't even talk about that at all. And what that says to me as the customer is you've either forgotten about me. Your business is so big, you didn't even remember I made a purchase, that sort of thing. They have no concept how big our businesses are or aren't. Okay. Or, well, really, that's about it, isn't it? Like, it's just gross. We want to be acknowledged in some way when we have invested into something. And if we do that, oh my gosh, I just saw Laura Jones commenting. That's like one of my closest friends. I was like, what's she doing on here? Just kidding. What was I saying? Okay. So we don't want to make it gross and transactional, but there's got to be a middle ground in there somewhere. There has to be. And it's going to look different for everybody and for every scenario. And I know we're not super face-to-face in this world as much as some of us would love to be right now. But we've got to figure out how to acknowledge that people have purchased from us. And that's kind of like the reason we don't close well. The reason we fear the close is because we fear that next encounter with the person. And you may not even have ever realized that, but there's this like, once our relationship becomes, money has exchanged hands, even just virtually, then it sort of changes things from there on out. But does it have to? Does it have to really? Like, it really doesn't have to. You can still be both a normal human being and a friend acknowledging that your friend got some products. And so you got to really figure out how to do that better. Okay. All right. So one way to do that too, I will just tell you, for us, we are huge, and by us, I mean my team, we are huge on gratitude after the sale. I just really think that we don't do a very good enough job acknowledging when people have purchased from us. And so whether I make diffuser postcards. That's one of the things that I've got at Oil Supply Store, and I love them. I don't care what you use. Like, go to Target and buy that $10 brick of flat cards and envelopes. You know the one I'm talking about? They're just like color mishmash ones. It doesn't matter. Just put the words, "Hey girl, thinking about you this month. Hope you love those products you ordered." Put that sucker in the mail and get that out to people and be grateful and show gratitude. The beauty of it is, if you've acknowledged it that way on paper, if you have, and I'm not just talking about your like one-off orders. I mean, how about our most loyal people? How about our ER members who place orders every single month? And we're like, oh, they're fine, they get ER points, and we ignore them and spend all of our time praising the people who order once in a blue moon, like they actually make any huge difference in our paycheck. We gotta flip that mindset a little bit too. I don't know what we're talking about tonight anymore. I think we started talking about fears, but I've sort of lost track along the way. Okay, number 4. I just got a sweet text from one of my friends yesterday who took oils to her grandmother in hospice. Oh, I love that. Okay. I mean, I don't love that, but I love what she just said. Number 4, fear of comparison. Comparison will take you down, Charlie Brown. It will knock you out of the game. It will get you distracted. If you find yourself on social media, on Instagram, scrolling and looking at the same people over and over again and comparing your business to their business, your life to their life, your children to their children, your husband to their husband, your makeup to their makeup, whatever it is. If you are like in a position where you are uncomfortably comparing yourself to people, you need to stop. You just need to like pull the plug on that relationship. You don't have to unfriend people. You can just unfollow them and they won't know. It's fine. But we really need to do a much better opportunity for ourselves of kind of freeing ourselves up a little bit. The best seasons in my business have been the ones where I just simply ran and looked down at my team, and I didn't look around. I didn't really look up. I've never really looked up a lot, but just look down at my team, quit comparing myself to anyone else. The only person I'm competing with is myself last month. That's it. And just get your eyes down and focus and get yourself off of comparison, because you'll get trapped in that. You'll get really, really trapped in following other people's numbers. But what did you do to get there? And listen, you're not going to ever replicate what anyone else is ever doing. You're just not. It's going to look different for you. It's going to be more beautiful for your team than it is for theirs, because it's your team and it's going to be the way your people are doing it. Number 5 is fear of failing. We are afraid that we will fail. We are afraid that we are going to put out there to the public, to social media, to all the people that we are doing this thing, and then it's not going to go great, and we're just going to like let it fade away. And we fear that. We get really tied up and bent out of shape with that fear of failure. And I get it. I totally get why we are afraid of putting ourselves out there and failing. But again, if you're not willing to put yourself out there, you're not willing to actually close, you're not willing, it just is this tumble down effect when we're afraid of that. But failure is actually a good thing. I mean, we don't want to fail in the big picture, right? But I mean, I've done incentives that have bombed for my team. I've set goals that I've yet to reach. I've challenged leaders to do something really hard and then they didn't, or like it was harder than I thought it would be for them. I mean, all of these things have happened all along the way. And at every point in time that I get stuck in that, I literally just simply revamp and go, okay, refresh, new month. What are we going to do this time? We didn't hit our goal. We're not out. We just didn't hit that goal. We start back at zero every first of every month. Every single month is a new opportunity for us to do something better than we did the last month. And so anytime I've had these failed situations, it's always just been an opportunity for me to reevaluate and to really just look at where I'm going, determine if that's the right place. I don't know if Bethany, I'm sure she has taught y'all, if you're setting goals for 3 months, you don't just look at that 3-month goal. You got to like break it down. So, at the end of 1 month, are you still on pace? At the end of 2 months, where should your pace be? And break it down even further. If you're going from 3,000 OGV to 10,000 OGV over the course of the next 3 months, you don't just track the OGV, right? You got to track the number of team members that you have, the number of people you have enrolling, all of these things. And each of those are an opportunity for you to not hit a goal, but then to do it better the next month. And so we just have to keep doing that over and over. And the last fear that I have for you guys is actually the opposite of that one. It is the fear of succeeding. And the fear of succeeding is actually one that I think holds back more of us than we think. For one, we think that the big goal, whatever that might be, is going to change everything for us. And then the closer you get to that big goal, the more you realize that that goal doesn't actually change a whole lot about who you are. For example, hitting Royal Crown Diamond can feel like the end all be all in our company because it's just the top rank, right? But the day that I achieved that, nothing else special happened to me at all. Not a single thing. Nothing changed. My family wasn't any different. My friends weren't any different. I drank a whole lot of Ninja to celebrate. That was about it. There was nothing else different about me that particular day. And so if I pin all of my hopes and dreams to this one singular accomplishment, when I start to get close to it, I recognize that it's not actually going to do it for me. It's not actually going to change all of these other things for me. And so if I'm just like, listen, silver is going to change my life. Silver is going to be the point that everything changes for my family. It might in a lot of areas, but at the same time, you are going to need to keep changing along the way, not just your goals, but like who you are and where you're going, because otherwise we just don't run after the things hard enough to understand what it takes to get there is also what it's going to take to hold it and move past. And so some of this is because we get stuck in this poverty mindset. You can either think like the goal is not going to achieve the thing for me, so I'm not going to run after the goal, or you can think the goal is not made for me. I don't have the right to hit the goal. And so I'm sure Bethany has unpacked tons of poverty mentality stuff for you guys before, but there's a serious problem in our world of people who think that success is not for them. It's not something that is going to be part of their life. It's not something that they are, that they're going to have the opportunity for. And so they really get caught up in being held back by their own lack of belief in themselves. Now, I will tell you, I love Jesus. I'm a Bible believing Christian. I love the word of God. And one of the things that I feel like can be the opposite of that is when we start to have this mentality of, I believe I deserve it. I don't like that either. Okay. So I get really frustrated when I see people who say, I could never deserve it. And I get really frustrated when I see people who say, well, I deserve it. I don't think we deserve a whole lot of success. What I do think is that just in and of itself, and hear me out, okay? But what I do think is that when we have opportunities presented to us, like this one right here, we get to choose if we're going to take that opportunity and run with it, or we're going to look at that opportunity and say, no, I'm not, that's not part of my life. That's not something that I'm going to do. Y'all are all in this call and watching this, and you may not think that you have any of that in you, but I want you to just really check carefully and make sure that there's not any weird expectation for you on success, because it's there for you to run after. I keep seeing memes. There must be something going on in the universe this season, that I keep seeing memes and seeing people post things where it's like, I saw another Royal post it today, and he was like, opportunity showed up, but it was wearing overalls and holding a shovel, and so people overlooked it, right? Or something like that. But right, like opportunity shows up, but it's dressed like hard work, and we don't want to do hard work. We want opportunity. We want it to just fall in our laps. And I think we've got to run after it. We've got to run. We can't fear what success would bring. We've got to run after it and be excited about the changes it's going to bring for us and for our families. And so I don't want you to get held back thinking you don't deserve it. And I don't want you to run after it and think that because you deserve it, it'll happen to you without hard work, because there's a ton of work in this thing as well. But we've got to do it well so that we can bring more people into it, because it's not just about you and me. It's not just about you being successful and me being successful. It's not about your health goals or my health goals or your dreams or my dreams. We represent teams of people who need this opportunity. They need to see us chasing our dreams so that they will get the confidence and have the ability to like suffer through a hard season as they're chasing theirs, and see that you've gone ahead of them and done it before as well. So guys, there are a lot of fears out there. I could probably talk about 10 more, but I just want to throw those 6 at you. And hopefully one of those resonates with where you guys are individually. But I hope it will be helpful for you. Just run after the hard work. It is worth it. It would not be worth it if it did not entail hard work. It really would not. It would be boring success, and that would be no fun, right? All right, guys, that's all I got for you.
Erin, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I feel like that was just way valuable, and wow. Yeah, thank you so much. If you guys want to put in the chat. So, usually you guys, we have an 8:15 call, and 2 days ago, Jordan Trant, who enrolled me, who's a Royal Crown Diamond, called me and she said, hey, I want the opportunity to join in, like you guys join in with our Monday night and vice versa. And I was like, okay, that sounds like really exciting, because if you know Jordan, she is really, really good at product education. So every week on Monday night, they have an 8 o'clock call. And then at 8:30, she does open coaching for business. So here's the thing though. I would love and be so honored if, number one, you would follow the link I'm about to put up and go to that class and represent our team there. And secondly, I want you to get a taste of the way that she works, because she is really, really good at this business. And I want you to watch how she presents the class. And then more specifically, I would be so honored if you would stay on at 8:30 and watch how she presents the business launch that she's doing. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and put the link in. On this account, I'm going to put up a graphic that says, oh, if you're here for the class, go over to this link. So this account will stay up, but I hope to see you all over there. And when you're over there, private message me, and I want to just know that you're there and cheer you on, and maybe we can have a little chat in the comment. Okay, so here comes the link. We'll see you over there. It's Green Oils. Grab a friend or two to come with you, and we'll see you over there.